Hey guys, we are back with some more Salt Lake City Lakers franchise mode. And in this one, we are at the trade deadline of year number 8. And as of late, we have been, for the most part, winning games. We went on a 4-game losing streak, I believe, at the beginning of February. But other than that, it's been pretty solid all around. There's not really too much of a reason to change much. We are strong on the power play for once. And I believe our penalty kill is actually not too bad either. As we take a look at both of those. Power play, we are, 20.2%. No reason to change that. Penalty kill, it's been hovering around 80% all season, so it could be better, but it's much better than it was at the start of the season. So I'll take it. And as far as player stats go, I mean, pretty much everyone's doing what they should be doing. Burakovsky, the first line's having a season of Plekanec's, Wright, and Burakovsky. They're all almost point per game. And as far as goaltenders go, Keystop, he's shutting it down. Holtby, he had an awful, and I mean awful, save percentage at the start of the season. So that 885 is actually, as of late, probably more around 900 or 905. So he's not doing too shabby recently himself. It's just we need to stay consistent. We're a very young team, so I don't think there's any reason to make a trade here at the trade deadline. Because when you think about our roster, we have either players who have been in the league for 5 years or less, or players who are nearing the end of their careers, such as Crosby, who's 39. We have Doughty, who is 37. We have Holtby, who is also 37. But then you also have players like Dundas, who's 24, Wright, 23, Plekanec's 22. We're, for the most part, a very young team. I don't think there's any reason to be trading any of those guys away. They're all big parts of our future. So we are, with that being said, going to go right ahead with the rest of the season. Our only trade prior to the trade deadline was for Nazem Kadri to start winning some faceoffs and to be better defensively than, who we traded away? Noel Gunler, I believe. Let's see what happens in March. And actually, before we simulate the full month, we're going to still go ahead with our 3-2 win-loss ratio for goaltenders. So that was a loss right there for Keystov. So Keystov gets 2 more games for San Jose and Anaheim. And we'll see what he could do here now that we are past the trade deadline. No, don't want that guy. We get a 3-0 win over San Jose and a 4-2 win over Anaheim. So far, so good. We'll go for the Rangers and Edmonton. And against the Rangers, we have a 2-1 loss. That's unfortunate. And a 5-1 win against Edmonton. Against Buffalo, we have, oh man, they're tough. Yeah, that's understandable. 45, 18, and 5. They are very good. So that is 3 losses for Mr. Keystov. So we will get him out, and in goes Holtby. Luckily, we are still in a playoff spot. We're in the first wild card now, and we are 1 point away from the Avalanche in the divisional spot. So if we can put up some pretty consistent numbers from here on out, I think we should be set at least for the wild card, if not, hopefully, the third divisional spot. Because it is, I mean, even the second divisional spot is possible, considering how close together this division is. But then again, that goes the other way too, and we could be sitting outside the playoffs before we know it. So we just have to make sure that we're consistent as far as winning goes. So let's see what Holtby can do against Carolina and St. Louis. He has a 4-3 shootout win and a 5-2 loss against St. Louis. And against Vegas, you have a 4-3 shootout loss. So we got points, but it is time to get Ilya Keystov back in there. And yeah, look at that now. We are currently sitting outside of the playoff picture in the Western Conference. So we really have to go on a nice streak here. I would hope at least a 4-game winning streak. That would be nice. Toronto, you have an 8-5 win. Okay. Not going to get my hopes up just yet. Ooh, Crosby injured with a strained hamstring until April 1st. So I don't believe that's too far away. And luckily that's only a third line center. We'll get Kadri up to the third line, and we will get Zarnik on the fourth. Against Washington, you have a 5-4 win. Okay, 2 in a row. And there you go. A 2 win against Nashville, 3 in a row. Very nice. We'll go 3 more games against New Jersey, Columbus, and Ottawa. Against New Jersey, we have a 4-1 loss. That's unfortunate. Shake it off. Come on now. There you go. 2-0 win and a 5-2 win. That is what I like to see. Let's keep going. games against Minnesota and Detroit. Huge games here. If we can win these, that'd be great. So Crosby is back. We're going to get him back on the third line and Kadri back on the fourth. And a 5-1 loss against Minnesota and a 3-2 loss against Detroit. All right, so I think we'll take out Keystop one more time. We'll get Holtby in there for the games against Winnipeg and Arizona. And then no matter what, we will get Keystop back in there for the final game of the season against Chicago to get him warmed up for the playoffs. So we're currently sitting in a playoff spot, but that could, once again, very easily change. So games against Winnipeg and Arizona. Arizona, I don't think they're going to be competing for any wildcard spot. So again, I would like to win here. I don't think they'll be, yeah, there you go. A overtime win against Arizona. And are we now in the playoffs officially? Are we in? We are not quite. We occupy the third spot in the Central Division. So with a win here, that would secure our spot in the playoffs. Come on, Salt Lake City. Please. We lost against Chicago, but I believe I saw we're in. Yes, we are. We are in the first wild card. All right, that was close. That was pretty close, but we made it in. So let's check out the final season stats. You have Radek Plekanec leading our team in scoring with 80 points on the season, over a point per game. Marner was 77. Wright was 76. Burakovsky was 74. He had a huge bounce back season. Wow. Yeah, that's quite the difference between last season and this season. 42 goals and 74 points, 13 points on the power play. The power play was night and day difference between this season and last season. It was brutal last season. Crosby with 57 points on the third line. Not too shabby. That is exactly what we got him to do. Joshua Waugh with 56 points. LaRose with 54 points on the second line, I believe, in his second season in the NHL. A lot more physical this season than he was last season. 10 power play points. Over 200 shots, and yeah, that is indeed a lot more points than he had last year, so good progression from him. Matt Dumba with 48 points, Dundas with 43, so he didn't get to 60 this season, but he stayed consistent with where he was last year. Fleury with 36 points, I believe that is a bounce back season for him. Yes, it is. That is the highest point total since the 22-23 season for Hayden Fleury. Nazem Kadri with 30 points, and 5 on our team. Of course, we just got him at the trade deadline. Quentin Messier with 28 points on the season. Nieuwendyk with 26. Naslund with 25 on the fourth line. Lambos with 20. Goddard with 19. Doughty with 19. Atkinson with 6. Zarnik with 6 in 9 games. Wow. Eakin with 3. Sterling only played 2 games. Face-off wise, Crosby with a 58.2. Kadri with a 55.7. That's why we got him. Plekanec, I don't think he didn't take as many faceoffs this year as he did in years past. Wright with a 51.8 and LaRose with a 49.5. So overall, faceoffs got much better this year than they were last year. Can't complain there. Hit-wise, you have 162 hits for LaRose, 145 for Wright, 143 for Goddard, over 100 for Plekanec, Fleury, Dumba, Kadri, and Lambos. And then hit per game for Messier as well. We're a pretty physical team. And then takeaways to giveaways. You have all the usual suspects up here. Waugh, Crosby, Wright, Marner, Burakovsky, Plekanec. They're all very good. Kadri, he's about even. LaRose, wish he would be better defensively. Atkinson, wish he'd be better as well, especially as a fourth line grinder, I might add. Then you have Messier. He's looking all right so far. Could improve on that, though. Nieuwendyk could be better. And Naslund could be better. Eakin could be better. Zarnik could be better. And defensively, we know takeaway to giveaway ratios are pretty much all over the place. But you know what? As long as we're winning games, that's all that really matters in the end, I suppose. Dundas with 19 fights. So he's really got to tone his fighting tendency down there. I think starting next season, we're going to tone that down because that's just a little too much for a star defenseman to be fighting, in my opinion. So I think that's about it. Actually, we'll check the team stats. Goals for per game, we ended with a 3.4. Goals against per game, we ended with a 3. And we were in the top half of the division for that, so can't complain too much. And it's not like anyone in our division was particularly great defensively either. The highest, or the lowest, I suppose, goals against per game belongs to Minnesota with a 2.74 in our division. So it's not like we were that far off, you know. Power play, we were 4th in the division, 20.5 power play. Not too bad at all. Penalty kill got better as the season went on. 80.5% penalty kill. 3rd in our division. Not going to complain. So, pretty solid season. Could have definitely gone better. But we're at least in the playoffs. That's all that really matters. And I guess we'll see who we have in the first round here. And we will be facing the Minnesota Wild. They are 48, 27, and 7. They have Yanni Gourde, Blake Belfour, and Willie Nylander. And on the second line, they have a 78 Jeff Skinner, 88 Perfetti, and 84 Nick Petan. On the third line, you have Ricardo Garnett with Jake Lesishin and Nikolai Mironov. And then on the fourth line, oh my, they sent Kapanen. I completely forgot he went to free agency, but we didn't realistically have space for him on our roster anymore, considering we had those two rookies in Nieuwendyk and Messier. So Kapanen went to the Minnesota Wild, but he's on their fourth line. I mean, I would personally put him on the second there instead of Skinner, but maybe they have like a +5 for chemistry there with Skinner and Perfetti and Petan, who knows. And then you have Comfort and Zucker as well on that line. So overall, forward-wise, they have a lot of depth. They have Belfour as well, which helps for sure. Perfetti. So their center depth is actually pretty nice, especially with their 1-2 punch with Belfour and Perfetti. And then Lesishin and Comfort, not too shabby on the third and fourth line there either. So, and then on the right wing, they're very deep. They got Gourde and Zucker as well on the left wing. So overall, pretty solid forward group. Defensively, you have Solnishkin and Gostisbehere, and then Brodin and Montour, and then you have DeHaan and Philip Johansson. So no studs on the back end. They do have Belfour up front, and who's in net? They have, oh boy, Carter Hart, and then Hunter Jones as the backup. So we can look forward to facing Carter Hart, unfortunately. And as extras, they have Haula, Bjugstad, and Kempe. Actually, you know what? I just realized we forgot to get Keystov in there for the final game of the season, but that's all right. He played a reasonable amount of games. He had 46 games played. That's significantly more than he played last year. So hopefully he got the rest that he needed, and he can just, go through the playoffs without any issues. Presuming he doesn't completely break down, I think Keystov's got to be our guy going into these playoffs. We have to know what he simulates like in the playoffs. His goaltenders on this channel do have quite a rocky history when it comes to playoffs versus the regular season. So that being said, we'll end things off here. And in the East, you have Buffalo versus Florida, Ottawa versus Tampa, Pittsburgh versus Toronto, and New Jersey versus Washington. Then in the West, you have Edmonton versus Colorado, San Jose versus Arizona, Chicago versus Dallas, and Minnesota versus your Salt Lake City Lakers. And that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one when we face off against Minnesota Wild in our return to the playoffs. See you guys then.